You're listening to Ocean Updates from the Open Ocean Pod, your weekly snapshot of what's new beneath the waves. From science breakthroughs to policy shifts, we'll unpack what's happening in the ocean and why it matters to you. Let's dive in. AI, water, and the ocean. Can undersea data centers really help? Every ChatGPT prompt you send uses around 10 times more energy than a Google search. Multiply that by the billions of queries made each day, and it's no wonder that we're in a global race to build more data centers. But all those servers get hot, like really hot, and cooling them requires shocking amounts of electricity and water. So, what if we just moved them into the ocean? This June, construction began on a $223 million underwater data center 6 miles off the coast of Shanghai, powered almost entirely by offshore wind. It's part of a growing effort to solve two problems at once: the land use and cooling demands of traditional data centers, especially in dry regions like the western US and parts of China. With AI development booming, data storage demand is expected to hit $75 billion by 2028, and many of the world's largest data centers are already competing with agriculture and drinking supplies for water. Could the ocean be part of the solution, or is it just another casualty? Data centers work 24/7, which means thousands of servers packed tightly together pumping out heat. Without cooling, they overheat, fail, and even lose data. So cooling is everything, and it requires hundreds of thousands of gallons of water per day and vast amounts of electricity. That's where undersea data centers come in. The Shanghai Center, developed by Yun, also known as HiCloud, uses cold seawater pumped through radiators on the backs of server racks. That naturally cools them down, reducing energy by 30% compared to land-based facilities. It's a model inspired by Microsoft's Project Natick, which sank a pod with 800 servers off the coast of Scotland. 2 years later, the results were promising, with reliable performance, lower failure rates, and more sustainable energy use. The new Shanghai Center will also be powered by a nearby offshore wind farm, supplying up to 97% of its energy. It sounds pretty perfect, right? Not quite. First, there's the heat problem. While seawater cooling reduces land demand, it releases warm water back into the ocean, sometimes in regions already suffering marine heat waves and oxygen depletion. This can worsen stress on marine ecosystems, especially benthic habitats on the seafloor. Second, there's biodiversity. These underwater facilities occupy marine space, disrupting habitats, affecting seafloor organisms, and competing with conservation priorities. And third, security. A recent 2024 study found that undersea data centers can be damaged or even disabled by sound waves, raising concerns about attacks using underwater speaker systems. Not only is that a risk for infrastructure, it could impact marine species sensitive to sound. So, while these solutions reduce land and water strain, they introduce new oceanic pressures that we can't ignore. AI is only going to grow, so our energy solutions need to get smarter and more sustainable. In the meantime, you can consider your digital footprint. Every AI prompt you use uses energy, so try to keep your questions clear and consolidated, and think about whether you really need to query that at all. As we move deeper into a digital and AI-powered world, our environmental impact isn't just physical. It's data-driven and cloud-based. On an individual level, you can switch to greener tools like Ecosia, or try energy-efficient AI models like DeepSeek, which have a lower carbon footprint. But it doesn't stop there. If you run a business, you can check out the tools that you rely on. Do they follow an ethical and environmental code of conduct when it comes to AI integration? Platforms like Stripe Climate, Canva, and Squarespace are starting to lead the way with net zero goals and transparent sustainability practices. And as a whole, you can stay informed about your country's digital infrastructure plans, share your opinions, and hold your local councils accountable to their climate commitments. The shift to a digital future is here, so let's make sure it's one that works with and not against the planet. Want to dive deeper into the energy cost of data? Head to the show notes for links to Microsoft's Project Natick and the Shanghai pilot project. And don't forget to follow the Open Ocean Pod, your open space for science, sustainability, and the sea. This has been your ocean update from the Open Ocean Pod. Thank you for listening.